out again. Stomped them and shoved them back in. How could you play pretend? It's quite obvious that you ain't a friend.
I made that. That's me.
You said that I was your boy.
Travis Barker
Can't
playing the
sleep,
drum.
but you play coy. I tried to avoid, can't sleep, not a word, but all this noise. That was February 1st, I just got home, but you shot my nerves.
Welcome to the Dollar Bill Show. I saw where Mary Lou Retton was arrested in Fairmont, West Virginia, with an open container, and she was driving a Porsche, and she was drinking some wine, I guess, and had an open wine bottle. And it's like, this is West Virginia, man. My dad, he drank every time we got in the car when I was a kid, especially if he was like taking me to go play baseball or something like that. I mean, that's just normal stuff here, bud. But I know where her street is up there. She's got the street that she grew up on. For those of you who don't know, Mary Lou Retton was like the biggest American hero when I was a little kid. She won gold at the Olympics and beat the Soviet Union in the all-around in gymnastics. And there was no bigger American hero than Mary Lou Retton. And I spent a lot of time living in Fairmont, like 4 nights a week. I would live there and then come back home for 3 nights on the weekend, 2 or 3 nights on the weekend. And I would live out of this place and work at WVU and then also little other jobs like Fairmont High School or different things, whatever. But we were always working at WVU, and I would stay at I think it was called the Fairmont Inn. And this lady was a professor at WVU that owned it, and it was like there was a hotel, and then I remember there was this creepy ass funeral home that's like abandoned, I think, right in the middle of Fairmont, and it was right beside that. And like, I used to smoke a lot of weed at that place. And that's where I do my drinking too. But there was you could stay inside, but I smoked back then, so there was these little there was like cabins too, these little cabin things that you would stay. That's where I would stay, is those little cabins, because you could do whatever the hell you wanted. I can remember one time, man, this fucking guy, like I was in the shower and some guy came up and tried, because I mean, it's this is West Virginia. You know what goes on here. So like, and somebody tried to come and climb in the fucking window when I was taking a shower, and the window was in the shower. And like, then they tried to come in the front door, and I was like, I'll fucking shoot you, dude, if you come in, if you don't get away from here. And I don't even know if I had a gun or not, but I told him I would shoot him, and eventually he left. But I can remember another time too, my cousin, because he used to stay there too, and when he worked on the road. But we went up there because they were having college game day for a big WVU game, and we went up there and stayed all night. And at the time, he did heroin all the time. I mean, he was a heroin addict, so like he would he would live. I mean, this he spent like probably 2 years of his life in the Sheetz bathroom. Was it no Speedway gas station in the bathroom, and he would just that was like his office. That was his office, either there or I can remember him doing that in the Hooters bathroom too in Barbersville. But in that hotel room, I can remember like we stayed there all night and we just split a room, and he was in that bathroom. He didn't leave the bathroom. He was in that bathroom for like 14 hours and didn't leave that bathroom the whole time until we went to the game. And like every time I would see him in there, he'd just be like, and I mean, we carried on a conversation the whole time, but the whole time he was in the bathroom. Here's a clip that I saw from 60 Minutes, which
Get
is
you to react to something that one of your peers said, another director. Steven Spielberg can't be compared with people like Mike Nichols or Barry Levinson. There is a place for mass entertainment, but it shouldn't be confused with art or quality award-winning filmmaking.
Sometimes I think that statements like that are pretentious in themselves, because it sort of says that, you know, art is serious, and art can't move you. Art can't be on a bicycle with E.T. and fly across the moon. That can't be art, you know, that because it takes your heart along with it through the sky, and it makes you feel like a kid again.
And you think about that now, like somebody telling Steven Spielberg that what he does is not art. And it's like, I mean, there was nothing bigger than E.T. either when I was a kid, but and then you also like some of the greatest art in the history of cinema is I mean, it's like him and then Lord of the Rings for me as well. And then I mean all of that stuff, Star Wars and everything. I know he didn't do that, but Band of Brothers, like he's telling all these stories from history, Saving Private Ryan, that's all he produced all of that stuff. And that's the way I feel about art too. There's like a lot of people that won't even share stuff because they're like it's it's not cool if you don't share it and you're like in this little clique, and it's like fuck that, man. Let's share this with the whole world, and let's like and then also because that's what you want to do is like I want some kid in Manila to fucking get to see what I'm doing and experience other parts of the world that they might not know about. That goes for like selling merch and shit like that. I want to sell merch with Walmart and stuff. Like, I don't give a fuck. A lot of people would think that's not cool or something like that, but it's like reach as many people as you can. I saw this thing where I remember Jesse James when he came out with that West Coast Choppers. He did that. He sold those shirts through Walmart, and like he said within a month, the first check was like over $20 million. You know, I look like my passport picture looks. Speaking of Steven Spielberg, it looks exactly like E.T. Exactly. And then I'm going to show a clip of what E.T. looks like, and then you tell me. Might have laughed and I might have not have laughed. But that's okay. Okay, and here's something too. Look, man, whatever you do, contact your senator and tell them to vote no on this big budget bill, whatever the fuck they're calling it, man. Vote no on that, because all it is like a pass for Trump and all of his cohorts to break the laws of our Constitution. And it's like, it's no different than that first bill that they passed when they got in. That's why ICE is doing all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's taking the same people to prison that built his properties and worked for him. Could you imagine, like, could you ever imagine doing that to someone who helped you in your career, helped you make money, helped you make your way? Could you ever imagine doing that to someone and then claiming you follow Jesus Christ?
Big, beautiful bill. Man, they are so proud of that name. They can't stop saying it on social media. They officially gave the bill that name, and I get it. I'm a huge fan of alliteration myself. I think the repeated B's give it a certain je ne sais quoi. But if we're going to be repeating B's, I actually think we could have gone even further with it and been more descriptive as to what this bill really is. I would have gone with something like a budgetary boon for billionaires, or a brutal butchering of benefits for the bottom bracket, or maybe a blight on the biosphere for our barren buddies' bottom lines. I guess I'm just bedeviled by this blunderbuss of a budget bill, which bears the blatant branding of all the back-scratching backdoor billionaire buy-ins that broker tax breaks for big business while ballooning the budget, blowing up bipartisan breakthroughs, and bankrupting the already broke. But hey, you can bet your bottom Bitcoin there'll be a backlash back home for all these billionaire bootlickers, so buckle in, bitches.
Smarten up, people. Everybody that voted for him. You know, it took me a long time to realize. I spent a lot of time mad. Spent a lot of time mad at my family and things like that over things that happened to me and different people, my loved ones. But I look back at it and I was out of control. I was on drugs and I was out of control. And some things get lost in translation. I might have seemed scary to some people. And now I look back at all that, and I see it as a blessing in disguise. But at some point, you have to look at yourself and take responsibility and say, you know what, maybe I wasn't right. And stop being a victim and take responsibility and admit when you're wrong.